Let's talk about the newly announced 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee, because this is the 23 and I definitely have some thoughts about it. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, so I probably have, a little bit of insight, but let's just take her for a little spin here and do a little POV drive and talk about it, because the 26, of course they don't invite your boy BJP out there. I know I haven't been super active with content in a while, but I'm still the Grand Cherokee guy at the end of the day, right? Like, I should be invited to these kinds of things. As you guys know, I've always been the WK2 Grand Cherokee kind of fanboy, I guess you could say. I've always loved the WK2 even before I actually had my first one. So, going to this newer style where you kind of take away the sporty look, ever since they even announced it, there was a lot of things I didn't like. First thing being this like little turnstile thing down here. This was kind of one of the things that stood out to me when I first saw the initial announcement of the new, I think it was 22 or 23, they started making it with the L. That was kind of my first impressions, was, hey, what is the little dial thing? Like, why are they bringing it over from Ram? I didn't like that on the Rams. I would never buy a Ram just because of that, unless it was a TRX, which it does not have that. But on the 2026 Grand Cherokees, it's essentially the same thing that we've been seeing since 22, 23 with this style Grand Cherokee, but they basically made some changes, and the biggest one being that new Hurricane engine. Now, they're trying to compare that and put it alongside the Hurricane engine, which, has a lot more performance out of it. It's a V6 twin turbo, right? That's a lot more interesting, especially for somebody like me, right? I'm going to be more excited about getting, a Grand Cherokee with Hurricane. I think I want to say it pushes between like 400 or 500 or somewhere around there in horsepower. They don't make the SRT anymore, right? So, it kind of shifts that way, but then they come out with this new, what is it, inline 4 or something with a twin turbo or whatever it is, a turbo 4. And I see these essentially being the same thing that you're getting on the newer GM products, right? Like the GMs and the Chevys that have that Turbo Max or whatever they want to call it. The inline 4, with the turbos or whatever, which is supposed to have more torque and whatever. One, it sounds like a 4-cylinder, so that's junk in my opinion. Unless you're a 4-cylinder like Honda guy or something, but like most people in the truck world don't want a 4-cylinder to be ripping out the back of their truck. Two, you're pushing such a heavy vehicle with that, it's bound to have faults. I do think there's been pretty good reviews on the GM side, I will say that, because there's definitely a lot of skepticism coming into this 26 Grand Cherokee. With this new inline 4, they're pushing a heavy vehicle. Obviously it's less than these big GM products and these big trucks, but it's still, at the end of the day, it is a heavier vehicle. I was looking the other day comparing, an SRT Grand Cherokee to a Ford Raptor, and weight wise it was like 400 or 500 pound difference. So it's not as drastic as you might think, going from an SUV to a truck. Obviously the bed, depends, it's like aluminum or whatever, but pushing it through the inline 4 turbo is like, who knows what the reliability is going to look like. And I think that's kind of the skepticism that everyone's having is, hey, is this thing gonna even be able to hold up, over the long term? Like, there's no long-term testing on a new engine, right? Like, this thing just comes out. I do think it's a huge miss. Like, they should have just kept what they already had, that they already have tested and put in other vehicles with the Hurricane engine, and threw it in the V6, because that at least would have given, some more opportunity for people like me to be excited about it and maybe go check it out, right? I'm not saying I would probably buy it, because for me that just might not fit exactly what I'm looking for, but at the end of the day I might go check it out and just say, hey, how does this thing feel? How does it look? How does it, drive at that, with that Hurricane engine, compared to, say, an SRT like I used to have, right? You're not getting the V8, which sucks. And they did kind of bring back the SRT group, or whatever they want to call it, the SRT team. Not too long ago, actually, they brought back the SRT team. And I was hoping, maybe going into 26, we'd have an announcement for a new SRT Jeep or Trackhawk style variant, where we're getting some sort of powered V8, whether it's supercharged or whatever else they might come up with. But I was hoping maybe we're getting a new SRT essentially, and here we are, going into 26, and they just announced a 4-cylinder. So you know, from my point of view, and I think from a lot of other people's point of view, that's a huge miss. Stellantis and Jeep in general just kind of have been, I feel like they're pushing more towards the luxury side with the Jeeps. I mean, this thing's starting at what, 60 grand for a Summit or something like that. So it's, you know, it's not a cheap vehicle anymore. I mean, even this one I think starts at 40, 50, and it's kind of bottom of the barrel baseline. So it's hard to say, you know, where they're trying to head. Like, I feel like that's kind of the area. They're kind of pulling away from the SRT on the Jeeps. Like, they've kept the Durango, they got the RHO with the TRX, which is, you know, somewhat decent. But also at the end of the day, I think, you know, even the RHO was a miss, but that's just, you know, I'm more of a performance kind of guy. Like, I'm driving this right now, but I'll tell you that's not gonna be like that for long. But you know, it's just like, I've always been like performance. I want the cool stuff and whatever, and like I like the excitement around it, right? Like going to a car meet, or you know, having other friends that have similar things. Like, you know, you can get a Challenger or a Charger with a 392, and then you can get that in a Grand Cherokee, and then you guys can be friends, right? And you can hang out. You got the same engine, different models, different vehicles, but you know what I mean? It's all for the love of the game. So having that taken away, kind of like, I don't know, it kind of sucks. I hope that they do come out with another SRT, and of course, if they do in the future, I'll check it out. But I'm just curious, if you've watched to this point, let me know in the comments down below, what are your thoughts on the new 4-cylinder turbo engine going in the Jeep? I think it's a miss. I think it's a waste of time. I think they should have spent more time working on something like an SRT, throwing something in there maybe with a turbo V6 even. Like, take the RHO or whatever they got in there, which I think is just the Hurricane, and put that inside of one of these and see what it does. Like I said, I'd be more curious to check that out. And then when we talk on like the interior, right, if we're looking at like the interior styling, or we're looking on like, you know, the exterior, because I say the exterior because it doesn't really look like they changed much, which that's kind of the way that it goes now. They're like, oh, we have a new model coming in, a new, you know, a change to the exterior and the interior, and then you get it and it's just literally the same thing with like, oh, the headlight is a 0.5 millimeter lower and the grille has this extra little plastic piece here. It's like, it really does not, you know, change the look. I mean, me personally, I think that they kind of killed Jeep a little bit in this newer version. Interior is fantastic, right? I've been driving this one for probably about a year now, maybe a little bit more, and the interior is fantastic, right? Like, the steering wheel feels great, but I mean, so did my WK2. But you know, I like the look and like the setup of everything. Digital dash, you know, this screen, I got the smaller screen and it's perfectly fine. You know, just kind of how everything's laid out, it's fine. Like, it's not bad at all. I can't complain. But also at the same time, to not change it when you say you're making a bunch of changes, and then it's basically the same thing, except instead of, I think this is a 10-inch area, right? So on the Limited and Summit and whatever, you can get like a 10-inch screen. I think they just jacked it up to like 11 or 12 inches. So it's like, you're really only just making it a bigger TV screen in my car, which at the end of the day, I guess, you know, if you're focusing more towards that luxury person, they might care about that. For me personally though, that's not ever my, you know, my thing. Like, I could care less, honestly. Everybody likes a nice screen, right? Like, you look at like a new Raptor with like a nice big screen and whatever, or the TRX that has like a vertical iPad. Cool, right? Nice feature to have, but you're buying it first for the other features of the vehicle. You're not buying it for a giant screen, right? So, you know, maybe they're focusing more towards, you know, the luxury aspects and going more towards, hey, who's gonna buy our vehicle? Like, maybe they see that their data is trending towards, you know, there's a lot of like soccer moms and stuff that are picking up the Grand Cherokee. I think this one that I'm driving right now, the newer style, I think it perfectly matches that type of person. Like, I think this is like baby steps towards getting like a Tahoe or something like that, you know? Like, I think the newer Grand Cherokee matches that, where the WK2 has like a sportier, cooler look to it, where it's more aggressive, where I think this one's just kind of more dumbed down, relaxed, you know, jack up the prices and let's sell them to some soccer moms and some, you know, people who are older and aren't really caring about the sporty look. They just want something that's reliable. I say reliable, it's a Jeep product at the end of the day. We all know that they've gone downhill for a while now, but at the end of the day, it's, you know, I mean, it's preference and choice, right? Like, I have the V6 in this. It's like, does it have plenty of power? I mean, I guess so. It depends what you're doing, right? Like, if you're trying to drive this thing across the world and trying to drive as fast as you can everywhere and have a bunch of loud noises, I mean, you probably might be able to get somewhat there. But for me, it's like, dude, this is just a daily driver right now. Just, you know, help me step up to the next thing. and you know, like I'm driving to with 52 miles remaining, probably gonna get the light on. There's a gas station right there, and I'm just driving right past it. You know, that's the nice thing that I'm getting out of this V6. I'm sure with the 4-cylinder, you even get a lot more, right? Like, I'm sure the 4-cylinder probably has, you know, who knows, it's probably gonna get like 30 miles per gallon or something like that. Like, pretty ridiculous numbers, you know, because you're getting a 4-cylinder. But at the end of the day, you know, maybe you're selling it to the gas person who's like conscious of that. But I don't think that the Jeep brand or like the Grand Cherokees have been focused on, you know, that kind of aspect of like saving gas. Like, I get 19 right now, and that's with me remote starting my car all the time and driving it. You know, I don't drive super soft. I don't really take highways much, but it's not bad. Like, I like that aspect of it, right? I went from an SRT where I'm paying, geez, like $4 a gallon on premium, and only getting, you know, like 10-12 miles to the gallon on that. So going to this one, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I fill up like twice a week, right? Like, I haven't filled up, and I'll probably fill up like later today or something, and, you know, call it a day for the next 2 or 3 weeks. But for most people, right, that's perfectly fine. So why are we pushing a 4-cylinder? And why are we making minor changes? And why is there no SRT? That's what I want to know. Why is there no SRT? Also, I do believe that in the next year or two, when they start announcing more Jeeps, maybe not after this video because I'm kind of critical all the time, but maybe, just maybe, we will see BJP Lifestyle get invited out to a Jeep, you know, reveal or whatever you want to call it, a Jeep event with the, you know, at the factory or wherever they're doing it. I think that would be sick to make some content on and, you know, kind of show what's going on behind the scenes and kind of show what's new, because, you know, I've been talking about and making videos about Jeep Grand Cherokees for 5 years now, probably at this point. And, you know, Jeep Grand Cherokees are everywhere. And I have to say, I think BJP took a little bit of a step towards making that happen. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Stop the cap.
Now let's get one little baby V6 pull. That's what you get when you drive one of these. Do you understand? But yeah, it's real honest feedback at the end of the day. Like, if somebody from Stellantis or Jeep is watching this video, take it as a consideration of me speaking for the majority of the people, right? When you look in the comment section of any of these reveal videos, they're all saying the same things. And it's a lot of stuff about reliability. It's like, why would you come out with the 4-cylinder? Why not just stick a Hurricane engine in there? You know, where's the SRT? There's a lot of different things like that. Maybe that last one is just me commenting on all of them. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, it's all common things that people are saying that other people are feeling. Like, I'm within this community all the time, right? Like, this is all my comments on my videos and everything. So it's like, I see what people are saying, what people like, what they don't like. And of course, I feel it the same because I'm also driving, you know, a Grand Cherokee, and also, you know, been doing these videos for 5 years. So, you know, maybe they'll take some considerations as we go towards 27. They probably already have, you know, ideas for 27 of what they're going to be releasing. It's probably the same thing with a little extra long antenna or something. Like, no one cares. So at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. But let me know, guys, what you think down below about this new Grand Cherokee. Do you think it looks good? Do you think it's bad? You know, like, I mean, it looks the same, which I don't think is very exciting. But yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking down below about it. And of course, what you guys think about, you know, the SRT. What do you guys think for the next vehicle? What do you think's coming? Content's going crazy. Like, I said that before, but it's actually happening right now. Like, get ready, buckle in, because we're getting back at it in just a little bit here. So make sure you do subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Click the like button down below so that more people can see my content, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
I only got one life, I'm trying to live my shit, minding my business as usual. I don't want nothing to do with the outside. How about the whip with a beautiful bitch? I've been too busy thinking about mine. Don't care what you be doing, I've been too busy thinking about mine. Back then shit was too bad, I was on the wrong path going too fast. Used to let the plug house holding too